The Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal Big Footy rules still apply. For the trade and free agency period. The emotionally checked out Tiger Starburns is here, and I'm joined by Mr. Moral Victory from St Kilda Cookson.
It's all a conspiracy, I tell you. One big conspiracy.
The Mayor of East Geelong, Teach.
My name is Teach, and I am funky.
You're in fine form. Joining us from the Elizabeth Street 7-Eleven, we have Dan from North.
Hello. I thought I was the man that didn't need an introduction.
Oh, it's good to mix things up from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was AFL Photos desk photographer.
That too, yes.
So Dan,
People forget that.
Dan's so important that he gets all the introductions. Like,
yeah. So can you start that again with all the introductions that I need?
Okay, and joining us from the Elizabeth Street 7-Eleven, we have the man who needs no introduction, but we're going to do it anyway. He's the #1 photo taker at AFL Photos, and... Fuck, what's the other one?
I think that's it. Is there anything else? Is there any other intros I need? All-round good guy.
Oh, Flower Farmer.
Flower Farmer. Flower Farmer, that's it, yes.
I do like a strawberry baguette.
You wouldn't. They taste like shit.
I think that's all of it. This is the sort of intro section you have when you haven't been on the month.
It's like a Shoaib Akhtar run-up. It's that long.
It's not at all like an elegant Brett Lee run-up.
Oh. See you, Penal. Enjoy your band.
It's longer than the Queen's birthday celebration.
We also have the #1 fan of Hawthorn's latest recruit, Jaeger Emira, Penal.
Good evening, folks.
And finally, we have the holder of Collingwood's leading goal kicker trophy, Morgan Ashley.
Kicking goals in the off-season.
Let's begin with goo or tears, and normally we would not do this for the trade period because often it's quite mundane, but this year was, well, to use a word I used earlier, bloody, and well, that is an understatement. So who wants to go goo or tears first?
Well, I've got to have goo.
There were a number of tears.
You just wait till Cookie starts speaking.
They went the axe. They just cleared out the axe. And we did that through retirements and 2-year listments. But
So is this goo or is this tears, and what's it over?
Or it's just drunk rambling.
Tears. I think we did poorly. I think we did very poorly.
I think you did too.
Yeah. So I think I'll just run off into a corner and cry about it.
Who wants to go next?
I'll have goo. Goo for St Kilda. I'm in a good trade period. Got Jack Steele, good midfielder. Got Brown, who fulfills a need down back. Got Kobe Stevens.
Okay, what's Brown's need down back to tell Rewald about how he beat him in a premiership?
Well, we need someone who can take on the slow and fat forwards, and that happens to be him.
So the Hawkinses.
Yeah, pretty much. And we also...
No, you don't. You just need Jack Billings to stay fit.
Yes, I don't think he's a key defender, though. But I think we also did something to another team, like it was Milning, but the team I've just completely forgotten about. Maybe Pena will know more about it than me.
Yeah, Penal, do you have any goo or tears?
Well, it would be so easy for me to have tears about the trade period, and I assume there will be many more to come, but I wanted to share a rare piece of good news, which actually warmed the cockles of my heart this week, and that was the epic conclusion to Australian Survivor with Queen Christie winning. I loved that because it was a good story. That's what Survivor's all about. It was a good story. I loved it. I was very happy with that. Condolences, commiserations to Matt, who I thought played really well, but that was like the only piece of good news I've had in the last 4 weeks. And
It was
it's like,
horseshit.
and Morgs, I respect your right to hold an uneducated, stupid opinion, but face it, you're wrong.
I think there was lots of news that you should have liked over the off season. Christy Bradbury's Survivor is not it.
So
I have blocked out literally everything about the off-season, but I'm sure it will gradually come back over the course of tonight.
So Morgs, would her Bradburying Survivor, would that be the equivalent of, say, your Darky had have beaten you a couple of years
It
ago?
exactly would have been you, Darky, beating me. Except if I had been arrogant and unlikable as Lee, that's what would have happened. But unfortunately, I knew how to play Survivor. They took her there, and they didn't know how to win the game, and that's why they...
I reckon if Morgs played Survivor, she would have won.
What do you mean if?
She
She has.
knifed everyone.
did.
Under
I
the
did
lid.
in Survivor. I won Day 13 Survivor Teach. But you didn't
And
read
that
the thread off.
shit's fucking cutthroat. You could end up getting raped by bombers in that one.
I survived
Oh,
bombers and Durex.
no, don't mention that name.
I survived bombers and Durex to win Survivor. I should have, I don't know, got a badge.
We're getting a little bit off topic, so Penal squibbed the goo or tears, I feel. Who else wants to go?
So I'm assuming the big footy Survivor guy didn't win.
He
Clearly
came
not,
fifth.
by the sound.
Oh, I'm shattered.
He played a much better game than all the others.
Did he? Oh, so he was a moral victor.
He
Is
was like
that
the
right?
Duritz of the...
No. Durex
the
was
Australian
immoral
Survivor.
anything.
I
Durex was
will
completely immoral.
I will say this about Matt. I really love this about Matt. I loved his voice. Like, he's got a terrific voice. It's so extravagant yet reassuring at the same time. Eat your heart out,
very
Christopher Walken. I want to take elocution lessons from Matt.
It's super South Australian too. I love
He
it.
still can't compare with Christie in gameplay though.
Oh, piss off.
Um,
It's not even a thing. But what I did like about Matt was that he owned every piece of Port Adelaide attire there was.
including the
Literally.
established 1997 jackets.
He owned everything. He had hats and jumpers and socks, and everything he wore on that island was Port Adelaide.
Did he have a bay
And
cover
now-
to sleep under?
And yeah, he used a bay cover as a tarp.
Yeah, who wants to go next?
I've got tears for Christy winning Survivor. That was horse shit.
Fuck off.
I know what I've got Drew for. I've got Drew for American Survivor.
Why are you
Oh
watching?
my god.
Why are you fucking watching people watching this fucking shit?
It's great.
Morgs has wasted her tears on Christian Survivor. I hope you didn't have anything to say about Chris Main. We'll come to it later anyway. Dan or
No.
myself? Do you have one, Dan, or I can go? I don't care.
Are we done with all the Survivor?
Yes, we are done with the Survivor stuff. You can have some goo or some tears.
Well, I don't have much of goo. I did back a winner on Derby Day. Pocketed some Kachingo. Prized icon. Got up. Trade period. North.
What's
didn't
that? Is that where everyone dresses up and just forces run around?
Yeah, and you win money if you're smart like Duritz.
Yeah. If you're Duritz, you have your own hunting
right.
forum.
Okay.
Is that thing still running?
I think so. Dan, were you finished with your goo?
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Yeah.
could go with a lot of things, but I'll just go with a really... I think we should touch on it just a little bit. But I've got goo, and it's probably ongoing goo. We might end up coming back to it a bit later in the draft episode, because I don't think it's going anywhere fast. I've got goo for Libba Junior's off-season.
What's with the Friar Tuck haircut?
Done.
Just
Sit
fucking
down.
playing ruck in... Drinking piss and then playing ruck in the Vietnam Nines or whatever. Like,
But that haircut he got.
this
on
guy
the
gives
sideline.
zero fucks. He's just like... Dane Swan was renowned for giving zero fucks about fitness and all the other stuff, and, you know, eating potato chips, crushing the bag and eating more potato chips, and, you know, getting on the shard and all that. But
Only one of them's been found in a gutter in King Street.
But, well, Swanee admitted to drug use, which actually probably worth mentioning because it's not on the rundown. But no, just the way Libba's just doing whatever the fuck he wants, the Bizarro interview. He basically appears like he's on another planet the whole time.
If he actually remembers winning a flag, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
He'll rock up, Prison's like, we won a premiership. When did that happen?
He's probably already lost his medal.
Probably hocked it for more drugs.
Well, isn't that like Favola? Like he sold his Coleman to feed his gambling addiction. Libba's
I believe
probably
that's true, yeah.
Yeah, Libba's probably going to have to sell his premiership medal if he hasn't already.
He's probably lost it, more likely. Probably gave it to Bob Murphy. Yeah, no, he's funny. And just on the note of Swanee, I did love the master troll from Dane Swan. Retired for 5 minutes and then just basically, instead of waiting for an autobiography to say he took drugs, just goes in an interview, took drugs. Yeah, haha, AFL didn't catch me just because he could. It's like fucking amusing. But let's go to the recaps. And basically the entire recaps are the trade and free agency period. And we shall begin with Hawthorn.
All right. First of all, on the first day,
Hawthorn are screwed.
On the first day of trade period, we brought in a player from Richmond. All right, and I've written a poem.
And that's where it all
to celebrate this momentous occasion.
You didn't bring in just any player, you brought in Tyrone Vickery.
Yeah, okay, so I've got a poem, right? Hickory Vickery Doc, Tyrone can suck my cock. He went first round, but he's a clown. Now Hawthorn's a laughing stock.
That's brilliant, Peter. Brilliant.
There you go. And dare I say it, that was the first day of trade period, and it just got worse from there for us.
That's a great poem, Penal. You can have a Nobel Prize for that.
You did pick 23 for Bradley Hill, so there's a positive.
But where'd that go?
Yeah, and they got 88 for Mitchell. That's pretty fair, I think, for a reigning best and fairest winner. And, he wouldn't get a game anywhere else but Hawthorn, so they did all right on that.
You got
and
good
then you
picks
turfed out Jordan Lewis as well.
Look, I've said everything I needed to say about the Mitchell trade in that thread I made. And look,
I've forgotten. Can you refresh my memory what you said?
I really had to make that thread because I basically just said that football's going to shit. I don't know what it is anymore.
No, there's nothing wrong with football. There's just a lot wrong with Hawthorn.
Put it down, Hodge. Don't blame the game.
Yeah.
Well, the fact is, in this thread, I basically took a swipe at Hodgepodge and a number of other idiots who were defending this decision because there is no way in my mind that trading Sam Mitchell is a good move for Hawthorn.
No.
It just
Agree.
no.
But you made it anyway.
Agree.
Lazy Clarko.
And that's why I made that thread to basically say all I was really saying is that it's fucking stupid and any Hawthorn supporter that defends it, like, you guys know this, I defend Hawthorn for everything. Like, Luke Hodge could rape and kill a girl, and I would defend him somehow. But I cannot I cannot defend this Sam Mitchell trade, and I had no problem with taking a swipe at the other Hawthorn fans because I know they have all already turned on me, so I just felt like saying "Et Brute," and so I don't even know what I did to upset them. Either it's because I'm just too sensible for them, or it's because DB Swanee told them who my Elias is. Just they all already hated me, so I just said, "You guys are idiots."
It all went downhill for you when you got voted out of that 10-person top 10 PM thing.
Yeah, and that's probably
token.
DB Swanee's fault. So he spilled the beans.
Sam
You're
Mitchell
slowly turning
never have been all traded.
I mean, Hawthorn are not even going to make the 8 next year.
I don't understand that.
You're slowly turning into Richmond.
Dan, it was clearly a really good trade getting rid of Mitchell because he's an elite kick. He delivers the ball beautifully. But there's no point having an elite kick in your side if the target is Tyrone Vickery because he's not going to mark it.
And the only time he does mark it is when the ball's not actually in the vicinity and he's just going up for a mark for nothing.
Yeah.
And we really needed to get Mitchell out. We really needed to trade him out so that we could trade back into the one of the first 5 rounds of the draft and get pick 88, the all-important one, after we traded about 27 picks for Jaeger O'Meara. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Jaeger O'Meara because that happened on the last day and I couldn't help but get excited.
I love
but
Jaeger
I feel
O'Meara
like
too.
we've
It's just that I
overpaid
have
for
put
a guy that hasn't... The guy that hasn't played for 2 years, and yeah, I don't know. But that trade we did with St Kilda, utter bullshit.
That's what like a lot of AFL people are saying. Is that they're wondering. They're saying, how the fuck did the AFL sign off on it?
We gave them like if we finish like, let's say we finish 6th next year again, and we gave them effectively like pick 14 for free. And obviously, the lower we finish, the worse it gets for us. And if Jaeger can't get on the park, I could see us finishing outside the 8 because we just fucking traded Sam Mitchell for no reason. The Lewis one I kind of get because of the whole 3-year deal versus 1-year deal thing, and we actually got some decent picks for him. We just traded them all for Jaeger O'Meara.
You guys chased him out, though. That's the other thing. Clarko's just gone, do you want Jordan Lewis?
Just fucking hell.
Crazy Clarko.
It's like this is what hubris does to you. It's like I think they all got a little too greedy and said we're the fucking best. We can do anything we like, and everyone gets greedy with power, and that's where the downfall comes. And I think the downfall's coming next year.
Has anyone seen a busier crafting place than we have this year?
This set new benchmarks in every way. The Mitchell trade even set a new benchmark.
We have literally plumbed new depths this trade period.
Like, and not just with the amount of trades made, but also the type of trades made. Like, you see Sam Mitchell get traded out, which I don't think... Like, that's
shocking,
a landmark trade. That's the one people are going to look back on in 5 years' time and go, holy fuck, that happened.
There is no redeeming feature to that trade. At least the Lewis one you can
depends
point
on
to
your
and
perspective. I think it was very awesome.
Well, yeah.
Agreed. Penal's correct.
I mean, even Freo had a better trade period. And
Freo had a good trade period.
Good.
They had their best trade period ever.
Well, that's not really saying a lot.
Apart from basically St Kilda and Melbourne, if you didn't make a trade this trade period, you probably finished ahead of most of the teams that did. Because...
Seriously, I think
so
people that participated shouldn't have.
Is this draft supposed to be like the best since 2001?
No, it's apparently meant to have good top 6.
Like, apparently the top 7 or 8 or 6 or whatever it is.
The top 87 picks are good. After 88, it all goes shit.
Well, thank goodness by the time you factor in academy selections and shit, we'll be up to about 81. Hallelujah.
Yeah, but the academy picks don't mean anything because pick 88 actually has no academy value when you're that far down the draft.
It doesn't even have a point value.
No, it doesn't have a point value, so your pick won't actually go up at all.
Yeah, and you know what? What makes this even worse? That if we want to get what's his name, Benjamin,
You've
father's
got no
son,
points.
I believe he's going to nominate us, but we've got no points to actually get him with, so we're actually going to have to go into deficit next year.
Which you don't have. You've barely got any for that.
And we've traded out our first rounder next year, so I don't know how that works. What it's most likely going to work is we'll have
You won't get a second and third round pick next year.
We'll have like pick 30 next year, and it'll become 45 or something. I don't know.
Pick 30. You're suggesting you'll finish 6th.
Don't we have GWS as second rounder? We
yeah,
traded out ours.
It'll be like pick 36.
Shit.
I'm surprised that Carl managed to get more ex-GWS
You're in trouble, boy.
Yeah, just on another loser from trade period, yeah. Carlton's a good one to go to because... Does Silvani know any other clubs exist?
They are GWS light. They are terrible.
Andreas Everett, no, we don't like you. You kick goals. Then we need to make room for some other Neeful player.
Get out. We need to draft Jason Tutt's disabled neighbour. That's fucking Jesus.
Oh, that is...
Reece Palmer pick 135.
Don't tell me they draft King Tutt.
Reece Palmer win their goal kicking. He'll displace Matthew Wright.
Did they get selfish on the Gibbs trade as well?
No, that was actually the only thing they did right. It's about time someone fucking told a player who wanted to go somewhere to go and get fucked. It's about time someone did that. And they held all the cards.
On a 3-year, he had 3 years left.
Yeah.
Like, piss off, right?
Yeah, that's just like Ablett wanting home when he had 2 years
Yeah, and
left.
his contract was heavily front-loaded, so like he's probably been getting paid like $800K a year or something the last couple of years, just because Carlton need to fill the cap somehow, and then he'd be on like 400 for the next few years, and then he wants to fuck off.
Yeah, and Carlton rightly said
So
no.
well done, Carlton. That was the only thing, right? They somehow managed to lose a trade in which they got a first rounder for Zach Tui. They still lost that trade because they got Billy Smets in return.
I was going to nominate Geelong as a trade week loser, but I forgot they did get rid of Billy Smets. So, that's a big tick for...
Who would have thought that Bryce Gibbs could make
Yeah,
himself
we did.
look like more than a bitch than we'd
We
already
fucking lost big time.
I really don't understand that trade. Like, Billy Smets is like,
He's
not even
shit.
steak knives. He's the half-eaten pack of twisties.
He's VFL standard, if that.
Grassroots
He's
level.
he's fucking Jared Bauman.
I don't even know who that is.
Who?
Speak-
I don't even know who it
He
is.
can play.
Speaking of half-eaten pack of twisties, I
No,
must admit,
hang on. I want to hear Teach try and defend Billy Smets.
No, he can play.
Where?
He's
in the
What?
women's...
he's fucked.
Just on the subject of half-eaten pack of twisties, I do find it absolutely delicious that is effectively what Sam Mitchell was traded for, considering Penal brought that phrase over to us mid-year.
No, we didn't trade him for a pack of twisties. We traded him for a half-eaten pack of the new shitty pizza shapes. And I fucking hate it.
That was a good trade.
I hate it more than Morgs hates the outcome of Survivor.
I really fucking hate that.
Okay, what else we got on Carlton? 'Cause
Collingwood. Oh, Carlton, they
No.
got fuck all.
nothing else on Carlton? Like, who did they bring in? They brought in Marchbank and they paid a heavy price for him,
Marchbank, Ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Palmer
They-
and someone else.
What they did on the last day is because I think Alistair Clarkson must have called Brendan Bolton up and said, Brendan, I fucked up. I need your help. And so we traded like picks 66 and 70, which were like the picks we got for Sam Mitchell for next year's second rounder. So
Yeah, that was one of the weirder trades as well.
Was it ever?
they're not even an academy club, so they wouldn't need like the points from the shitty picks. So
Well, unless they have a father-son, but I don't know what the deal was there. But yes, Cookie Collingwood.
No thanks.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
know what the
yes.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Chris
I don't-
May, Daniel Wells, Lyndon Dunn.
Lyndon Dunn. Oh man, Lyndon fucking Dunn.
Can we talk about Survivor now?
No.
No.
We're gonna talk about Chris Mayne and his 1.1 goals a game average over his career, which is lower than John Butcher, which is lower than.
You know what? No, genuinely, I would rather we traded in Chris Main wearing.
I think he's past his use by date.
You know what? I think they both.
Yeah.
It's time that they got put out to pasture, both of them.
So will
Well, Chris Payne Waring has.
will the Great Southern Stand side of the MCG be renamed to the Chris Mayne wing for all Collingwood home games?
No, we don't change the name of the ground because we're not fucking retards. It's just the same name.
Yeah, not like Essendon or the Dogs.
Well, yeah, we don't feel the need to name an end just so we feel like home. Like, we're good with Ponsford. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, because real clubs don't worry about that.
Because we're real clubs. We're big clubs. We don't need to do that.
Cloak is finished. Why the fuck did Richmond take him?
What?
What?
Hang on.
What, David?
Who did Richmond take? Who did Richmond take?
Are you talking about Travis Cloakes' dad?
No. Who did Richmond take?
Age.
Cage.
Age.
Oh, now Teach is pretending he's into this.
Hey, he's mumbling.
Travis Floyd.
No, he went to the Dogs for
Oh,
a half-eaten pack of twisties.
I read the word wrong.
What, dogs and tigers? They're very similar.
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe he just saw a picture of the animal and he got confused.
You got confused because they must have been talking about premiership droughts. No, talking about Richmond's. It wasn't the Dogs anymore.
You've got something about Richmond, Starburns. Why don't you ran to event?
Well, no, I was going to come to Richmond a bit late. We still aren't done on Collingwood.
Yes, we are.
No.
We need to talk more about this Save Bucks recruitment
You've
strategy.
given Lyndon Dunn a lifeline.
If
Yeah,
if they
disgusting.
hadn't, if you were just looking at their trade period and not their free agency pickups, then they would have had they would have done a good job because
Gave Daniel
Ross
Wells,
Canelli,
who's
yeah.
who's like 32.
their two mistakes, I'd say, were Wells and Main.
Oh,
Look,
well, Wells has potential to be okay. No, their two mistakes are Main and Dunn.
look, they paid nothing for Dunn. They traded down
They
4
paid
places, and
nothing
he's
for
probably,
Main either, but they're paying him contracts and occupying list spots.
yeah, Dunn would be on what 120k a year. It's nothing. That's fine.
120K too much.
That's fine. They got rid of Cloak. They got rid of Williams. Tick, and they got Hoskin Elliott in. That's all right. It's
Well,
just
they did get rid of
the
Williams, that's
main
not bad.
the
And we
Main
got
and
rid of
Wells are
Frost.
baffling.
We got rid of Frost. We got rid of Witt.
So you actually did trade out some potatoes for some slightly bigger potatoes.
Yeah,
We traded out potatoes. Lots of
As long as you got rid of Cloak.
if they didn't bring in Wells and Main on big money, they'd be one of the winners of trade period purely for doing not a lot. But those two decisions kind of ruin it for them.
The main one is just
It's a mystery.
it's a mystery, and actually, this reminds me that Carlton, for all their bullshit and Giants retreads, didn't bring in another forward, yet Stewart got to Essendon. It's just like, Carlton, at some point someone has to kick goals for you. Sauce knows all about the twos players. How'd he miss out on Stewart? Because he played too many senior games. Cookie, you mentioned Richmond, and look, I'm Echo and all that, and I'd almost given up on making Richmond great again during the trade period because all the pick six talk with Prestia was really giving me the shits. And sure enough, we went there on the second last day, and we traded pick six for Dan. What is he?
Oh, he's a slightly better version of Anthony Miles.
He is exactly that. He's a slightly better version of Anthony Miles, and we decided he was worth pick six.
Well, but Anthony Miles isn't the human meatball, so...
Prestia was absolutely worth getting.
Not for what we paid.
Not for what
Not
they
for
were
pick six. What was it? It was 6 and your second rounder next year for Prestia in 24.
Something like that.
Yeah, so 6 for Prestia in 24. That would have been all right, but why you threw your second rounder in there, I don't know.
It still would have been bad picks. We should have stayed with pick six.
I retract my comment. I think Richmond are dickheads.
Well, no, we were fucked on trade period, and then we received a massive lifeline on the last day. We found a sucker to trade with down at Geelong, and they wanted Deledio, and we said, give us Josh Caddy, and they said no. And then, a week later, they gave us Josh Caddy for fuck all. Because they tried to offload Motlop, and no one in the competition wanted Motlop.
Josh Caddy couldn't get a game. He couldn't get a game at Geelong. So
I thought Caddy was pretty good this year, and from all reports, he didn't want to go.
He
pushed out.
he was happy to stay. He's no star, but he's a solid B grader. He'll be he'll play 150 games for Richmond and be probably good for them.
Like, he will have probably a similar
He feels the need.
season to Prestia next year.
yeah, it'll be another guy who
And-
plays another.
And
Well, yeah.
Geelong's youth just gets hit on
And
lips.
it's all because they're paying Motlop. They're paying Blycavs or whatever the fucking cunt's name is 700k a year. They're paying him 700k a year, and they're paying Motlop probably the same. And they're like, oh, we want to get rid of Motlop because he's fat and lazy and shit. But they couldn't get anyone to take him, and so they had no salary cap space for Deledio or Caddy.
That's one of my favourite parts. Literally, on the first day of trade week when the Deledio thing came out, and it was basically like, Deledio wants to go to Geelong. Geelong put Stephen Motlop on the table, and Richmond have said no. And we like fat, useless potatoes from other clubs. We got Chris Yarran.
Put Stephen Motlop on a table.
Yeah, but Motlop likes.
They put him on the table, and it gave way.
you break
He likes fried turtle.
Yeah, and then we said no, and then Geelong said, don't worry, we'll find someone else. Someone else will take him. The Suns will take him. Brisbane will take him. Someone will take him. They're desperate, and everybody else said, no, thank you.
Not even Collingwood took him. I mean, hello.
Chris May.
They took Chris Main over him.
Chris May got 2-ton test.
Look, everything about Geelong's trade period just amazes me. Like, they went hard at Dangerfield last year and they traded all these first-rounders and they made a bit of a meal of it with Henderson, which meant they couldn't trade for Deledio this year and they were struggling. They had to trade a first for Zach Tui, which is probably overs.
They've traded 3 first-round picks in a row, and, well, yes, Hawthorn might be finishing 17th in a couple of years, but Geelong will be finishing 18th. Mark my words, because
bullshit!
they have sold the farm, sold everything to get
We will-
Dangerfield in,
We will
and now
play finals again.
This is the other thing that's really delicious. I think I'm going to make my pre-season prediction again next year that Geelong finish bottom 6, but the upside to it is we're going to get their first rounder when they do.
Shut up, short ass. We're going to finish in the 8.
wait, don't Carlton have it, or what did?
No, we got it for Deledio because Carlton sent it to the Giants for Marchbank, and then we got it for Deledio.
Yes.
So our new coach next year is going to have 2 first-rounders to play with, 2 picks in the top 6. It's going to be great.
I hope Hawthorn have a shit season next year.
They will. They're not going to make the 8.
Oh, hope.
I want
Fucking
Fremantle
big.
next season. Fuck, if we get a top 3 pick, I'll be so happy.
Moving on from Richmond.
Can we go back to Hawthorn?
Yeah,
Can we go back to Hawthorn?
I
I
actually
think we'll come
don't-
back to Hawthorn a little bit later. I just want to focus a little bit more on Geelong, because if Hawthorn are the main loser out of trade week, which, well, okay, a winner and a loser out of trade week, who believes Hawthorn was the big loser out of trade week?
Yes, absolutely. I
Huge.
don't care what anyone on the Hawthorn board says. It's reminiscent of the Essendon board in fucking 2013 over there.
Does anyone have a different opinion on that?
Port
We
Adelaide,
fucked
Port
it
Adelaide's
up
a loser.
big time.
Port Adelaide won by doing nothing.
No, yeah, Port Adelaide did nothing and probably finished in the top 4.
Yeah, but they
Um,
still have Hamish Hartlett, who's like bleeding him dry like 900k a year.
Geelong
And he's
fucked
well-
it up.
Yeah,
Big time.
yeah, but we traded Sam Mitchell for pick 88.
Hamish Hartlett on 900k a year for his output is a lot better value than Motlop at 6.
North had,
Lycavs at 7.
North had a decent trade period.
Yeah, so who are our winners? Because that's a little bit more vague. Who's a winner?
Just any of the clubs that really didn't do anything.
Not Adelaide.
St Kilda,
Adelaide,
I guess.
Adelaide are up there with losers.
Everything
Fremantle-
St Kilda did was fine. They
No,
did well.
Fremantle are winners.
Freo, GWS, and Kilda, I would say.
St Kilda, GWS, Melbourne, I think.
Cookie's probably right.
The Brisbane Lions didn't really do much.
I'll give it to Melbourne because during the trade period they managed to lock up Hogan.
Well, hey, see, North Melbourne, they traded pick 69 for Paul Ahern, who is an
Who was a top
extremely talented youngster who hasn't played for 2 years because of injury. That's how you do it. You trade a fucking pack of twisties for him, not fucking 17 first-round draft picks and your top 2 and your best and fairest. Hello? So, North won.
Yeah, we all know how it works.
Trading with GWS is the gold mine at the moment because they've drafted so many young players along the journey that they can trade them all out for really good value because they develop them okay. Like they turned Treloar into 2 first-rounders, they turned Boyd into Griffin and a first-rounder. They do all this, so they're like the gift that keeps on giving.
I am so glad that we got Jonathan O'Rourke for pick 19. Just another fucking one in a long list of...
Yeah, well, everybody
Hawthorn
knows you're
players.
suckers at the trade table. It's a bit different. Like, see, that's how they're able to give Richmond overs for Deledio, and that's how they're able to basically chuck out a few discards to Carlton for decent picks. You know, the Giants have too many young players that people are going to rate, and they just turn them into more draft picks, and they turn those draft picks into whatever player they need. Like, all of a sudden they add Deledio to that puzzle, and they still have 2 picks in the top 10 in the draft anyway. And even if they don't win the flag next year, they'll probably turn those into somebody else. If you want to trade, you trade with the Giants because they'll give you overs and they won't fuss about it, unless you're Carlton.
Or you get a player who's not needed but turns out to be really fucking good.
Yeah, like Jack Steele.
Yeah, or Bruce, or whoever.
Yeah, exactly. But they've cleaned out so many players. It's like that's the key. You don't trade with the Suns, Penal, because
Yeah, because they've got Tony Cockbrain and he'll just fucking stick his cock in our ass and make my brain explode because how stupid we're being.
Penal,
But-
would it make you feel better knowing that Josh Kelly and Dylan Shield are out of contract next year?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we can trade our first rounder for him. Oh, wait, we already traded that to you for fucking nothing.
Should have waited a year.
At least you have Tom Mitchell.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing we did right. Like,
Yeah,
pick
that was
14
the
for
only trade
Mitchell.
you did okay.
He's your only good midfielder left.
Like it's funny when you factor all the trades Hawthorn made in, like they bring in Vickery, which technically cost them a lot of money on the contract side, which effectively forced Lewis out. But for considering what they bought in Mitchell for, it's just like it just shows you how badly they sold the farm on O'Meara. You know, Mitchell cost them fuck all. But I really want to come back to when I mentioned the losers. Hawthorn's the biggest loser. I think the next biggest loser of trade week was Geelong. Because not only did they get bent over on Caddy, but they didn't add Deledio, which they really wanted. They traded Vardy, who's a twos player, but they didn't get much for him, so they lost the depth tall. They traded in Zach Tui, which, yeah, he might improve him, but they got stuck with Motlop, and they traded out Kirsten and bought in Aaron Black, which is definitely a downgrade.
Jimmy Bartel also got forced out.
Jimmy Bartel got forced out and retired. Are you supposed to be in the window, Teach?
I think we fucked it up.
Yeah, you're cooked. It's over.
I think they jumped out of the
I will admit the Jimmy Bartel thing was a very ugly thing. It was not a good look. Like you're meant to treat your veterans with respect by trading them for pick fucking 88, not just showing them the door like that.
Don't you fucking get it. Don't you get in a Jimmy Bartel, or I'll fucking cut your fucking head off.
I think that turning Shane Kirsten into Aaron Black is actually a win for Geelong because Aaron Black's at least shown that he can impact games and, you know, do a bit of
3 or 4 years ago.
Whereas
literally once a year against Richmond.
The manliest thing about Shane Kirsten is his surname.
Yeah, Kirsten, you shit.
I have a question. What does it say about the culture of Hawthorn that someone would rather go to West Coast? Like,
I don't know. If you find out, please tell me because it's what 3 weeks on from trade week. I still can't figure the Sam Mitchell thing out. The Lewis one makes sense to me because of money and the length of the deal. Sam Mitchell makes no fucking sense. I don't know.
Hawthorn are just.
I know another loser of trade week, but
Adelaide.
it's more of a poster.
Brisbane.
It's Jasny or Jasny.
They kept Tom Rock.
Brisbane
Yeah, Brisbane
went,
lose because they
went
rock
with
lip.
the axe. How many cut players did they cut?
Not enough.
Yeah, did Brisbane cut anyone?
They got rid of
No one would
six, but
They got rid of Josh Green, who was a handy forward, so that they could re-sign Lewis Taylor for $500K a year.
They did a Geelong with Motlop. They shopped Rockcliffe around and got fuck all interest on the money. So Rockcliffe can stay in Brisbane and keep banging threes.
And lose the captaincy.
Well, that's probably a good thing for Brisbane. He can white hand the new captain. They lost Hanley, who didn't give a shit this year, so...
They're fucked now, they'll be fucked for years.
Oh, they're so irrelevant that, you know, we'll come to the fixture later, but they literally didn't even get close to a marquee game. Like, even the Suns got that stupid China game. Brisbane got, like, nothing. One free-to-wear game all year, I think it is. Just nobody cares.
That's not John, that's a good place.
But, yes, sorry, Cookie, you had that other loser out of trade week was Jasny.
yep. I mean, Luke Russell got delisted.
Eli Templeton got delisted. Luke Russell also made the bottom 50, didn't he?
Yeah. Jaeger betrayed Jasny, went to Hawthorn.
Went to the fake Tasmanian club.
Yes, poor Jaeger Black.
But I love it. I love it because my team didn't completely fuck it up. We made some mistakes, but hey, we got some good compo because Hawthorn paid Ty Vickery so much money because they were scared we might match it.
We literally shat ourselves at the prospect of you matching the Vickery off, and then we'd have to trade like a pick for him or something.
Yeah, you wanted Ty
because
Vickery that badly.
We didn't have any picks to trade because we'd already fucking committed to trading them for O'Meara, and if we had to cough up another pick for Vickery, then I don't know, we probably would have traded out Luke Hodge or something. So we had to pay him $500K a year.
You do realise he failed like 2 medicals at other clubs, Penal, prior to joining Hawthorn.
You mean Hodge because he turned up drunk?
No, O'Meara.
Yeah, I am well aware of the risks
His knees are shot.
In O'Meara, which is why I think we paid too much for him, given the medical situation.
Maybe you should have recruited Chris Mainwaring instead as well.
Jaeger O'Meara is going to be the biggest flop ever. He's got worse knees than Kurt Fernley, and Kurt Fernley doesn't have legs.
It's okay, just think positively. At least you can see Mitchell on TV every week due to West Coast being on Perth TV.
You know what? I am moving out of this shithole city in April next year. It is on the fucking record right now. So I will not have to deal with my shithead West Coast Eagles friends and co-workers giving me shit about the Sam Mitchell thing for like more than the first 3 weeks of next season. So hallelujah to that. And
Where are you going?
I'm going to Canada, Vancouver.
What are you doing in Canada?
So do Hawthorn supporters go to Canada instead of Eastern Europe?
No, this is a move. This is not me going on holiday, Floggo, and saying my internet died because I don't want to be seen because I don't want to front up on Big Footy or whatever. I'm moving literally because I don't want to front up in real life to the West Coast supporters.
They forced you out of town.
Well, I mean, you could just...
No,
why do you have to go to the other end of the planet?
It's not actually the reason, but it certainly helped me make my decision.
Well, what? Okay, well, give us the real reason why you're going.
Well, because this city is turning into fucking Detroit, and
Perth's a shithole. We already know that.
Yeah, and I intend to go somewhere
It's
nicer.
Detroit, so it's nearly Geelong standard then.
But you don't have to go to Canada though to get out of Perth.
I don't know. It's something different. I've lived in Melbourne before, and it was good. And I don't want to live in Sydney because I don't want to get stabbed by some meth junkie. If I want that, I'll stay in Perth. So.
Well, Daniel Kerr will try and burn your house down in
Go. I'm moving to Canada. If Trump gets elected, I may reconsider. I may move to America if Trump gets elected because it'll be great again, and I'll move to the great state of Kentucky or something and just eat chicken all day.
I've been to Toronto about 8 times, so I can recommend it.
the opposite ends of the country.
I've got a brother
It's like
there.
saying Melbourne and Perth.
I've been to Wagga Wagga once, so I can recommend
He
it.
can help you out.
I once went to Fiji, so I heard Tonga's nice.
Penal, what are you going to do in Canada?
Just fuck a dude.
Fucking shoot polar bears.
Wax seals.
I'm not sure if they're polar bears, but anyway.
Find a Mountie?
I'm going to smuggle ocelots into the country and feed them in the open market.
Let's go back to Geelong and how they lost the trade period, apart from Hawthorn. So the dynasties are over, Hawthorn and Geelong. The shit fights are going to be great. They're up the top of the ladder together. Now they're going to be fighting over flags. Now they're going to be down the bottom fighting over spoons.
Oh, shit. Can you imagine like an Isaac Smith point after the siren game to decide who wins the spoon?
Cue the Titanic music.
The beautiful thing as I can. And hopefully it's like Motlop or someone.
I'll be able to fucking hear the, shit fight from over in Canada. I'll just hear, like, out the window, it'll be Bosk on one side and Red Vest on the other. Or Geelong Dynasty. Like, there's their biggest Mong poster, I assume. So,
What about
We
Nokia?
actually did trade out the players that couldn't get a game. So,
Caddy got plenty of games.
not enough.
Does anyone want to look up how many games he played this year?
Yes.
Like 20 odd or something?
Oh, I'm going to say it was probably 20.
Geelong had two jobs this trade period, and they were get in Deledio and trade out Motlop. They failed on both. So,
And they traded out Caddy and traded in Aaron Black.
Josh Caddy played 18 games this year. He played 19.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that one.
He played
But,
22, 18, 16,
This
19.
doesn't even include Bartel and Enright either.
Oh, what are you going to do? You're going to go to their retirement home and go, right, get
They're
out of
only in
your
there 'cause you
fucking
put them there.
wheelchair and play again.
you could have at least traded them for pick 88 or something.
Well, based on that value, they probably could have traded pick 50 to the Gold Coast for Gary because he wanted to come home, but I guess Cockbrain wouldn't have let him.
No, I don't think we do very well.
That's the thing that pisses me off the most. On the last day, he was saying first rounder and either 2 first rounders or first rounder and a player, and he still folded on the last day for for a first and a second. So we could have got away with trading less because they wouldn't have let him go to the preseason draft and got nothing for him. They just wouldn't have. They would have taken one first rounder. I know it because Tony Cockbrain, his dick is the size of a small microbe. Not even an insect, a fucking microbe that you find on your body, and it's like the thing that it's the thing that when you look through a microscope and you see the microbes, and there are like a million microbes in 1 centimeter, and his dick is a millionth of a centimeter long, and he would have taken pick 10 for a mirror. So why didn't you just do that?
His name to Tiny Cockroach.
Yeah, like that's quite a specific description, Penal. It's almost as though you've seen it.
I own the microscope business in Vancouver.
Penal knows cops.
The biggest loss was Daddy. So,
Well, yes, we gathered that. Or was the biggest loss that you got stuck with Motlop?
Oh, the fucking finger twirl. Jesus.
Do we want to say anything about Ablett getting homesick, quotation marks, and deciding he wanted
poor
to come back
Gary.
to Geelong? When
Oh,
there
poor
was no
Gary.
way that if they couldn't trade for Deledio, there's no way they could trade for Ablett. If they couldn't
Well, he's
afford,
got enough
if
fucking
Motlop
money.
was
He
costing
can go
too much,
anywhere.
they couldn't have afforded Ablett.
Surely he can't be that homesick. Like, God's with him everywhere. Like,
He's
it's
got
just not
enough
on the
money.
Gold
He could go anywhere.
He could. Like, I'm sure, like, Jesus is still guiding him on the Gold Coast. Why is he so homesick?
O'Meara and Prestia may be in the Bible squad, and Gary was getting sad that
Actually, Morgs,
that his friends were
Jesus has been delisted, so his status is very much in limbo at the moment.
Oh, you didn't trade Jesus for pick 88?
No, they crucified him.
666.
We sacrificed Jesus for O'Meara.
Well, you're pretty fucking stupid. You could have just traded him to the Gold Coast. Then Gold Coast would have been fucking happy because Gary would have stuck around with Jesus by his side. They could have like held hands and sung Bible songs, and Andrew Swallow's brother would have been fucking happy.
Yeah.
Speaking of fucking working limbs.
Yeah, Lord Jesus.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
Lord
Andrew
Jesus.
Swallow, right? Can we agree that Gary Ablett is now a worse captain than Andrew Swallow?
No, because
Well,
there's still Tom Rockcliffe.
Oh, is that not...
Andrew Swallow is no longer a captain.
Neither is
No,
Gary
in terms of like a ranking of things.
Well, I think Rockcliffe's got to go to the top now.
I think Rockcliffe's got to be number one.
Yeah, like, I know Crazy Vossi did a lot of the groundwork, but Rockcliffe's taken Brisbane to new lows. Vossi dug the hole, but Rockcliffe really...
Rockcliffe pushed everyone in it.
Yeah, Rockcliffe put everyone in it, and then buried them in it.
and took no responsibility for it either.
Yeah, banged a 3 on top of it.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
No one else we want to talk about? We sort of brushed on that Freo did okay and out of trade period for like the first time ever.
I want to touch on the fact that Adelaide couldn't get a deal done for Bryce Gibbs. Adelaide, what they desperately needed is Bryce Gibbs, and they could not get it done. Pissed poor by them.
They should have given up more.
The guy that runs their trade thing is Bryce Gibbs' ex-manager. Couldn't get done.
Yeah, no, like, when you're trying to get a guy who's got, like, what was it, 3 years left?
Mm-hmm.
When you're trying to get a guy who's got 3 years left on his fucking contract, yeah, you probably have to give up 2 first-rounders even if he is 28.
And he'd know that because he negotiated that deal.
Yeah.
Return.
Yeah, the Crows had to do it because where's the next midfielder coming from?
Well, when they needed to bolster their midfield, all they did was lose one in Jared Lyons, dickhead.
No, it's all right because they'll be fine next year because Nathan Van Berlo and David McKay are still going to play 20 games each, and they're going to be headed for another semi-finals exit because of it.
I think Bamberla retired.
Wow.
Well, right.
About
Back
5
soon.
years too late.
Let's move on. We've been on the trades for ages.
I actually don't think you guys have stuck the boot into Hawthorn enough. Like, we deserve it even more.
We've established that you're leaving the country. I think
Yeah,
we've won.
There's a lot of clubs to sink the boots into this time.
We traded Sam Mitchell,
right.
the pick
Coming
88.
back.
A lot of clubs to sink the boot into. But let's quickly... Fallen players, the listings are Mitch Clark,
Barlow.
Will Minson. I'd love to know what his parting words were.
I'm a big retard.
His parting words was something about someone's dead baby or something.
Melchesky retired, which, well, did he even play this year?
Well, didn't he get a nice little super check from Gold Coast? What a prick.
Yes.
Andreas Everett. See you later.
Yeah, he kicked too many goals for Carlton. They had to get rid of him. Make a nice exa.
Xavier Richards.
we got rid of 2 cult heroes in Spanger and Fitzpatrick. Like, Fitzpatrick has to be the shortest-lived cult hero ever, from like that one game against Collingwood to getting delisted 5 weeks later or something. Who's going to get picked up, do you think? Like
Barlow
will get picked up. Maybe Hawthorn will take him because that's exactly what you would do. You would trade out Mitchell and Lewis and go bring in Barlow.
No,
I think
Barlow's going to Adelaide because they didn't get Bryce Gibbs, so that's who they're going to get instead. Pencil that in. That's happening.
Yeah, I think Kane Corn said about as much, but how in the know he is, I don't know.
Well, Kane Corn said he wanted to be a fireman, and then he never went ahead and did it.
So he welched.
He welched on being a fireman.
So he welched on those lives that he could have saved. Why would you say you're going to be a fireman and then not do it?
Yeah, that's pretty scummy.
Yeah, like, you know, save some fires. Come on.
Save some fires.
Save some fires.
We'll put out some fires, sorry, not save them. Shit. He's probably going the other way. He's probably starting them now.
Well, most of the people that start fires are firefighters.
I read something
They
about
get off
that.
over.
That's weird.
Yeah, Daniel Kerr wanted to be a fireman.
Yeah, some people are attracted, like, sexually turned on by fire.
Yeah, Daniel Kerr wanted to be a fireman, and then he realised that the only fire he needed was the fucking flame at the end of his fucking pipe, ice freak.
Sorry, you had to take a piss.
We didn't notice.
That's the most disappointed I had to take a piss.
You should have let us listen in, like DB Swanee always does.
I think we can move on to the talking points, and we'll begin with the fixture. Look, a lot of people liked it, some people did not. Morgs, I think, has a bit of a rant coming, but overall, I thought it was pretty good, except for the fact that for some reason, reason the AFL decided that we should have to watch this fucking China game. Like, seriously, Port Adelaide versus the Suns is a game no one gives a fuck about, and yet St Kilda had to have their New Zealand game on Foxtel, so why the fuck do we have to watch, Koshi's rent a crowd of people who are going to get starved if they don't go?
Well, presumably so the fucking 12 million Chinese people in Australia can watch it.
That was my one rant from the fixture. Everything else I thought was reasonably okay. But Morgs, what have you got?
This is bullshit. So after this stupid fucking thing that they were talking about, how everyone's going to be in these sections, like the top, wasn't it supposed to be three
They haven't
sections?
done that for like 3 years. It's just now you've noticed because it's Collingwood.
Oh, don't you
Yeah,
fucking worry.
I bet you still only have like 2 away games all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
we've got-
contractually got
Exactly.
games away from the G.
No, you giant cocksmokers, that's not true. We've got 2 Sydney games in the first fucking 7 weeks or something.
Oh, no.
God. 2 trips in
Oh.
7 weeks.
Oh, yeah. How difficult to travel. Oh, no.
Oh, your supporters are crying about having to drive down from fucking Geelong to Melbourne, you cockhead.
Oh, I can't believe Collingwood got screwed by the fixture. Like,
This is-
again and again. It happens every year.
Morgan, this isn't the first time you've complained about your club's fixture, and I don't understand how a Collingwood supporter can complain about...
Oh, I don't
They're
understand how you can actually complain about anything, considering you don't fucking fund your own club, but you do.
You see, that's like your home run swing. You always use that sort of avenue to support
when you
your
pay
club.
me.
You don't fund my club. The AFL funds my club and other clubs.
You're such an angry bitch.
Shut up, Teach, you fucking...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 games in Melbourne next year as a Collingwood supporter.
I would like to complain about the fact that we have to play a home game at Etihad against an Etihad tenant.
Hey, join the club. We do as well.
It's horse shit. At least give us interstate teams to play.
I'm-
And not everybody who has to play at Etihad when it's not their home ground. Don't
Shut
give
up,
me-
Morgan. I
Fuck
want
off, you
Penal to have his say.
You're a fucking goose. Shush.
Actually, I do want to complain that we seem to be the only Big Four club who gets sent to the fucking shithole.
Yeah, that's true.
That fucking annoys me. Fucking Carlton haven't drawn over... I think our crowd last year against Geelong, Carlton haven't drawn that much against Geelong for about 3 or 4 years now. And yet, for some reason, Carlton can't get sent down there even though they're, fucking shitful on the ladder as well. That frustrates. But for the most part, it was alright because they spread it round. North and the Dogs got their Good Friday game for 1 year at least.
We travel interstate 5 times. That's a lot.
Yeah, that means 17 games in Melbourne.
Yeah, that's 5 interstate. 8 games. That's heaps.
Yeah, we've got 6.
Jesus.
I'm pretty sure that.
Are you,
I'm pretty sure
Are
the
you
average
really
is
going to
6.
complain about having 5
Whinging
interstate games?
fucking bitch.
Have a look, but I'm pretty
You
sure
have
the
it
average is 6.
You have it so good compared to other clubs in Victoria, and you always have.
Yeah,
I don't know how you could possibly complain as a Collingwood supporter. It baffles me.
this Friday night's for Collingwood too, which did surprise me.
Yeah,
That
so
doesn't-
it looks like Hawthorn actually got the North treatment for next year, so we have a very easy first couple of months. And we play Gold Coast in like the twice in the first 9 weeks or something. So there'll be 2 Jager O'Meara Cups. Or if he can't get on the park, I guess we'll just call it the Thomas Murphy Cup or something. So we'll probably be like 9-0 after 9 rounds, and then fall away to finish 8th because all our tough games come in the last half of the year.
Nah, you'll be 4 and 5, and you'll fall away to finish 16th.
Culminating in playing the reigning premiers in our home game at their home ground in the last week of the year.
That's horse shit.
I'm quite content with our fixture. It's pretty good.
Of course you
Ours
would
was
be.
okay. We didn't get good time slots, but hey, when you play the brand of football we do, you don't deserve it.
No,
Um,
exactly.
I find
That's
it-
why we didn't get any
Badass.
prime time.
I will say I find it odd that the AFL has put St Kilda and GWS on a Friday night.
I'm amazed that
that
GWS
yeah.
got as many Fridays as they did.
Well, they're obviously expecting this to be the year for them.
Yeah, but St Kilda GWS, I mean, that's going to draw like maybe 35k at best. So.
That's an ambitious number. Bulldogs, GWS, like that's the thing, that GWS have 4 Friday night games, and one's against St Kilda and one's against the Dogs. Like there's some low drawing.
But you know, you'd expect the GWS Dogs to maybe not at the ground, but
Yeah, I'm
definitely
talking
big
about
TV
the
crowd.
ground.
Big
Um,
TV crowd though.
St Kilda Essendon on a Friday night. Gross.
That's also...
I'll tell you what has shitted me. The AFL seemingly gave Essendon a really nice fixture. And,
Oh,
Melbourne-
fuck yeah.
Gross.
and they got it because they finished wooden spooners, and you know what, yeah, whatever. But what does frustrate me is that Essendon got that home game they really wanted against Hawthorn to showcase their fucking drug cheats, which the AFL on principle should not have let that happen. They should have given them their first game fucking interstate.
You know what the worst thing about this game is? There can't even be any good jokes about, you know, Job handing the medal back to Sam Mitchell at the game because he won't be playing in the game because we've traded him for Brigadio for some fucking reason.
Hey, you can always make the joke that they got into this mess trying to catch you.
How good would the pre-match have been if the pre-match, Job, the fucking cunt, feminist, drug-taking cheat, is forced, like he's marched in at gunpoint, like this
Harry O'Brien style.
couple of army officers pointing guns at him and escort him into the ground and force him to hand the medal to Sam Mitchell as he leads the Hawks into battle. How great a story would that have been? That would have been almost as good a story as Christie winning Survivor, but we won't get it. We won't get it.
You know what? Mitchell will probably still, like, it won't be forced, but you know what? When Essendon play West Coast and Penal, you might get to go see this if it happens in the earlier season. I don't know. Maybe Mitchell will run through the banner with his Brownlow around his neck, because being the troll that he is, he might just do that for the laughs.
He might even play with it on.
I still love Sam Mitchell. I've a lot of love in my heart for Sam Mitchell, and whatever he does, I will support and appreciate it because he will always be my favourite player.
Pen, what date are you leaving?
April 16.
I thought he was going to say April
convenient.
1st.
The Hawthorn West Coast clash on the 23rd.
That's it. That's in Melbourne, isn't it? Right?
Oh, well, surely you could go to Canada via Melbourne.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's just I remember reading that we play like West Coast and Melbourne back to back or something, or 2 in 3 weeks. It's like the Mitchell Lewis Cups.
Next talking point, if we've got nothing else on the trade free agency. The AFL board Etihad, and this is interesting because Morgs did mention it before about clubs that need to change things at the grounds, you know, Footscray End, Lloyd End, all that sort of shit. So now that
Dougie Hawkins wing? Fuck off. Couldn't even write his name on the...
So now that the AFL own Etihad, there's no more excuses. The AFL have paid for Etihad, and the stadium deals will maybe not change quite so much this year, but certainly they're going to change beyond this, and there's no more excuses, nowhere to hide.
Why wouldn't they change next year?
Well, it sounds like they're not. It sounds like they're going to run things the same way for a little while.
Why?
Just, I guess, the amount of time it takes
Yeah.
to get a contractual deal to...
To figure it all out, and I don't know, but that seems to be the story.
Well, other than the financial aspect of it, what is it going to mean for fans that are regular tenants of the venue, like me?
Apparently you get more control to do things you want, like turn the lights off like Essendon did his bar, I assume.
Can I bring an esky full of booze?
And the fucking lights off?
Maybe they're allowed to open and
Joking.
close the roof when they like. They can open and close the roof when they want.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
if this means more fucking air raid sirens, then I am not in favour of it.
name more things, whatever the fuck they want. You don't just say
And on
the
the
ends.
water sprinklers?
They can have the hovercraft during the game. Like, seriously, can't it be heaps better if they put the hovercraft at full forward?
Yeah, no, I don't entirely know what else they can do, but yeah, it's owned, and yeah, clubs will make more money off it, the AFL make more money off it, they'll get to make money off everybody else who's playing there, like Victory and the Renegades and whoever else.
Rugby.
But it'll still be Etihad Stadium. Like, they'll still have people...
Yeah, it'll still be Etihad Stadium.
So it won't be totally controlled by the AFL, will it?
Well, that's because the Etihad Stadium name, the deal is still there for a couple more years. After that, anyone, the AFL can choose who they sell.
Well,
it
that's
to.
just the naming rights. Etihad don't control what goes on at the ground.
Yeah.
It's
How
just
do you
the
know?
naming rights.
Because
That's how this
an
works.
airline. They're an airline. They don't run a stadium.
it's
Yeah,
it's
but if you
Etihad, not Etihad.
if you forked out big money to sponsor a stadium, you might have a clause in your contract that states you can make decisions that happen inside the stadium.
No.
I'm going to
Maybe.
think
That's
Etihad...
not how
The
this works.
only thing I care about is if I can just bring an esky full of piss into the stadium.
You can't.
No.
Why not?
Oh,
The AFL own the stadium now.
They want you to buy their piss.
And they make a killing of selling mid-strength for like $9.90
Yeah, that's the other thing they'll
at the
make
bar.
money off.
So
That's
they're not
disgusting.
going to let you BYO.
Well, then they can get stuffed. So
Just bring
nothing's
it up.
changed then.
Just bring in a flask.
So nothing will really change from a fan point of view going inside a stadium.
They might change some of the reserve seating stuff. Like, this is what I mean by stadium deals as well. Like, next year the clubs might be able to make reserve seating sort of preferences for their certain games, like, so that people can sit on level 1. They might get more members in there, you know what I mean?
There could be less Medallion Club, I would assume.
I don't think they will. The Medallion Clubs, they make a lot of money off that.
How about they just get rid of that thing? Seriously.
Well, because they pay like $300 and something a month per seat. Like, that's a lot of money they just disregard.
Isn't it like 10 grand a year or something?
Yeah, but they don't, if they own the stadium now, then they don't really need it, do they? Because they're going to make shitloads more
But
money. out of it.
why would they give up that revenue stream?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Because I want a better seat.
And you want to take your piss into the ground.
I
Welcome
do.
to the real world, though, Dan. The real world is shit.
Sam Mitchell gets
And that's why you're buggering off to Canada.
If I could fucking move to Mars, I would. Like, the world is just getting weirder and weirder to me.
You'll have to bring your own
And
water.
this is the saddest thing. I'm getting weirder along with it. Like, the other day, like this, it must have been Thursday or something, I was walking my dog around my neighborhood, and I saw this lady. She must be a neighbor or something, lives nearby. She was walking her baby, not in a pram, but on a lead, with a fucking collar and a lead. She was walking her 2-year-old toddler or something. And I say I am getting weirder because you know what the first thought that came to my head was when I saw that?
What?
Gee, I wonder if that's a shock collar.
Did you get a photo?
Sadly not. I think taking photos of like toddlers gets you put on a list somewhere.
Oh, Man with No Name does it all the time.
My
As opposed to
brother...
putting a shock collar on a kid.
Let's move on. And one other thing that's worth noting is, look, Teach hasn't been on in a while, so he hasn't given grades since the bye week. So we have 8 sets of grades, Teach, to give.
Come on, Teach.
And we know everyone looks forward to this, especially in West Horsham. And speaking of West Horsham, we'll begin with the Crows.
The Crows. The Crows, I will give a 6.
What?
Letters.
Fucking letter grades.
Letters like A, B, C, D, E, F.
Teach is finding new ways to make this baffling.
Yeah, he should fucking get a job for the Hawthorn coaching staff.
The world is getting weird, eh, Penal? Teachers giving out 6s.
I'll give him a D then.
A D out of 10.
A D.
Yes.
The Crows get a D.
Not the only thing getting a D tonight from Teach. Hey.
Done better.
Alright, what about Hawthorn?
Hawthorn C.
Hawthorn had a better year than the Crows, okay. North?
D.
D. Bit like the Crows. West Coast?
E.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I agree with that one.
We really need to dig up some of the grades he gave early, because surely not everyone got worse than E that missed the 8.
I don't know. There was a year where Teach gave first and eighth like an A or something.
Oh,
It's like Fremantle and Richmond.
No, like
same grade.
West Coast is fair. They were underwhelming. They got
And
spanked.
were they E underwhelming?
Yes, but this is not meant to include the trade period, right? Just the season.
Penal's right. Penal is exactly right.
Okay. Cool.
Teacher's off his head.
Yes. Teachers off his head. GWS.
GWS. Oh. See?
Play the grand final.
One kick from beating the Premier and they get a C.
Hard marker, Teach. Hard marker.
Yeah, Teach. Teach. That's probably a bit.
They have orange in their jumper. So
He wasn't taking a piss before, he was going to get some piss.
I can't question that logic.
What about the Colas?
And to just make fucking great.
Colas Teach.
Colas, gotta give him an A. I nearly went all the way.
If it weren't
So
for
did
those damn
GWS.
umpires, I'm baffled. Dogs.
A++.
That's not a real grade, fucking...
Did we ever expect them to win?
I picked them
Nope.
for the flag things.
Final?
Pre-season.
Picked them
No.
for the runner-up.
No.
Jeez.
Yeah, and they don't have orange in their jumpers, so...
Okay, you get an A. Everybody gets an A for not having orange, except for the bit.
And finally, Teach, Geelong.
See.
C for cooked.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
No,
Can't
C for
argue with that.
concerning.
Yeah.
I mean, their trade period would be an F. And I think Teach will agree with me on that.
F- for Hawthorn, though.
Oh, we get a fucking...
You don't even get a grade.
We get... Our trade period gets an S for stupid. Just... It's beyond the realms of failure.
O for orange.
And it's... like... Historians will write essays.
Yeah.
People will get their PhDs based on studying this Hawthorn trade period and how wrong it went.
Okay, so we are at the questions. Oh, no, we're not quite at the questions, but we will skip to the questions now. I had one other talking point, but since we're at the questions, I'm going to ask you a question, Penal. Does this trade periods from Hawthorn surpass the Crazy Vossi episode at Brisbane as the worst of all time, and the Fremantle drive-through with the Trent Crode, Luke Hodge deal?
Yep. No, absolutely, it does. We traded Sam Mitchell for pick 88. Nothing in the history of football compares to that. I mean, fucking Donald Trump, when he talks about how bad the trade deals are that the USA keeps making, those trade deals that cost hundreds of thousands of jobs are still better than the trade deal that Hawthorn made with West Coast. So it is absolutely the worst trade period in history, and thank God I'm not going to bear witness to the fruits of their fucking retarded labour.
So the final talking point that I want to mention is, and Morgs is probably the best to deliver this, we mentioned the list of players before, maybe a few of them could take up Kabaddi.
What the fuck is that?
I read a description on that. That can't be the real one, where you actually have to chant Kabaddi when you run back to show that you're actually breathing out. Like, that's not a real thing. That's not actually how you play that sport, is it?
I watched this thing for like 10 minutes on Fox Sports where Milne and Campbell Brown and some other Aussie guys were running up and down a miniature court trying to
Schneider
put
was
their
there
foot
too.
up.
Bit of respect.
Oh yeah, Adam Schneider, and they're all trying to put their foot over the line, and these guys are forming semicircles around them trying to block him and shit. I'm thinking, what the hell are they doing?
It's like
hang on. Let me get this straight. Someone crosses the line, and then a whole bunch of people semicircle them and close them in. No wonder they picked Milne.
I was going to say, how is Milne not very good?
I do like the pictogram of it on Wikipedia, which looks like a guy fucking another guy in the ass.
Do they have a Brownlow medal for Kabaddi, like a Rapelow medal? Because if so, Milne would be like year-on-year winner.
What are you supposed to do in this sport? I've no idea how the scoring
Campbell Brown
works.
knocks him out and Milne fucks.
It's like a tag team combination.
And Milne's so used to that.
Move over Dangerwood. Fucking Brownie Milne is the new 1-2 punch combination.
So, Morgs, did we not get the Kabaddi audio?
No, I can't do it. But the stupid, at the start of the game, there's a countdown, right? And they go, 10 Kabaddi, 9 Kabaddi, 8 Kabaddi. And it was one person from each country. And Campbell Brown was number 5, and he goes, 5 Kabaddi! With his accent. And it was fucking ridiculous. And Al and I rewound it about 8 times, listening to Campbell Brown go, 5 Kabaddi! It was the highlight of the whole thing. And I even took a video and put it on YouTube of it, and it got banned in India. Because I don't know, it was against trademark or something, copyright laws, because actually people care about Kabaddi in India.
I didn't watch a second of this. I just heard about it. I literally only knew about it because of Big Footy. But, Morgs, you watched it. What the fuck? What was this shit?
It's like the hokey pokey with tackling. You put your right foot in.
You put your left foot
And then
in, you
they
pull
throw
your
you to
left
the
foot
ground.
out, you put your left foot in, and you rape them all about.
There's air raids in it, or like there's not air raids, there's raids where you get like double points, and what you have to do is try and cross over in and put your foot into their area. And if you touch one of them, they're out. So kind of like British Bulldog. But if they tackle you to the ground and pin you and you don't get back over the halfway line, you're out. So it was pretty intense for about 4 minutes. And then Australia was so fucking bad at it. I was like, we've already literally been all out twice in the space of 2 minutes.
So you have to cross the line.
Yeah, well, and Stephen Milne has been crossing the line for ages.
Yeah.
I think that he'd be good at it, but no. As soon as it came to being tackled by a bunch of men, he was not good.
Well, maybe he just misheard raid as something else.
He heard rape and then he just got scared. I don't know. He thought the police were coming again.
Nothing else on Kabaddi?
No, the best part was Campbell Brown going, 5 Kabaddi at the start.
Let's move on to questions. We have one.
Are we not going to talk about Lockie Whitfield, the drug pig?
Oh,
That's fucking the thing.
yeah, how'd we forget about Lockie Whitfield? Because that story that they came up with is totally going to work, that they tried to cover it up. It's
Yeah,
they're creative.
Because he was trying to get rid of his girlfriend, even though she was in another country at the time.
Yeah, that works.
Surely at this stage you realise you've sprung, and full disclosure must be the only way you get out of it.
Yep.
Apologise, accept the sanction, and Cronulla style, you'll be back in 4 weeks.
Well, what's this talk I've heard about, like a possible 4-year ban?
Well, because since Essendon, the Essendon players committed their things way back, but actually in the time frame since that happened, I read about this because it came up on the Hot Topic board, nowadays you actually get a 4-year ban for basically a positive test.
Yeah, so it doubled. So it doubled in the space of the last few years,
Yeah.
and which is why Sharapova could have... she didn't get the 4 years because her offence had taken place just prior to it being doubled.
I'm guessing for the purposes of WADA, like evading a drug test deliberately counts as failing a drug test, right?
They hadn't actually come to test him. He was just hiding out in case they tested him.
He's an idiot and he deserves to get whacked.
He's an idiot, Gubby's an idiot, Lambert's an idiot. Like, seriously, if you're going to dodge a drug test, surely you come up with something better than that.
It's like Warney saying, "Oh, me mum gave it to me."
And hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And
Yeah.
she has got her ultimate revenge. That
To be fair to Warney, he's just vain enough to have actually taken a weight loss drug.
yeah, fucking oath he is.
Well,
Yeah, and stupid enough to
Yes, and
just...
stupid enough.
Nah,
what
he
did
wouldn't want to
Dane
run it
Swan
off.
do
He just wanted-
to avoid getting tested positive?
Oh, he just tweet them to tell them how smart he was that he dodged them.
As soon as they'd leave, then he'd spark up the pipe. and he'd go, well, they won't be back for a few days. Let's get on it.
No, surely like his drug habit would be part of the reason why his relationship broke down, right? So it's like he's putting the cart before the horse.
But no, he's going to face a long ban, and well,
Good,
GWS will
good
say,
riddance.
"You retards."
Yeah, you idiot. Fair income.
You've cost your team big.
Yeah, that's
What
good
happened-
riddance because anything we can get to like kind of bring the competition back towards a level playing field. I hope 10 more GWS players get rubbed out.
Even if you get done for cocaine, it's like fuck all.
Yeah, I mean, look at Libba.
Yeah.
But apparently he thought that what he'd taken was like what the Collingwood players got with the clenbuterol. Like, how would you know that? How the fuck would you know that there's clenbuterol in your Coke? I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on it being just Coke. No. All you'd get is a strike for that. Fucking, that's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, look at the guy. He's a fucking stick. I mean, he's skinnier than Brad Hill, which is saying something.
I heard he sleeps with the lights off, though.
But not at his own house.
At Lambert's, he didn't need a night light.
Of course he was probably taking something dodgy. Just Occam's razor. Simplest explanation is usually the best.
Well, if there's nothing else on that, the only question came from K4E. Wants to know, is Plugger's melt over the grand final longest ever melt on the Bay Big Footy in terms of duration? If not, who holds the melt record?
I've got a good answer to this one. You do. Over your melt over us calling out your mashing, you masheroony.
I'm going to go ahead and just go back to an old Bay favourite. He was a member for 3 or 4 years, and I don't think Teffy ever was not melting during his time here. He's probably been melting in prison for 3 years that he can't post on the Hot Topic board, but I hear he will be out soon, so Vale all of us.
What have you heard regarding that?
A couple of hints from the North board, I think. Well, I can't remember where I heard it. Might have even heard it at PunjiCon.
Oh, I'll be the first to ask him how the prison sex was.
I'm going to say that smiling Buddha guy and him versus anyone who has an opinion that's actually correct.
Does anyone think Plugger has had the longest melt?
Well, it's not only the longest, but it's the weirdest because he's a neutral watching this fucking grand final and he's complaining about the umpires.
Oh no,
He has seen something.
he's never neutral when it comes to the umpires.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The funniest thing is when Plugger feels vindicated. There's nothing better than someone a little bit cuckoo with a crazy idea and they see something that actually they feel proves them correct.
Oh yes,
Because
seen
then they turn the tard thing up to 11.
well we've seen this
And-
from Hodgepodge now as well. Every fucking day Hodgepodge turns the tard up to 11 as just you've got no reason to.
Yeah, since you mentioned Hodgepodge and we've mentioned Plugger and we've answered the question, I think it's time to go to This Week on the Bay and...
I'd just like, before we do that, I'd like to answer the other question and give a shout out to Blood Ret. That's it.
I'll also give a shout out to my Sydney supporting Broseph in Bloodret. Thank you for Tom Mitchell, but it can't fill the Mitchell-sized hole in my heart.
Also, probably dishonourable mention, because Wigo did have that 8-month melt from last year until basically Hawthorn's season was over, so it's probably more than a year. Flog of the month time, pretty competitive month, and that's even when you take out the fucking idiots with the Queen and Brett Lee pictures, the terror squad.
Leave the terror squad alone.
Any retard that had the burqa in their avatar can have my nomination. You can all be blanketed for the week.
Hey,
the Brett Lee 9, every
at
member
least-
of the
at
Brett Lee
least-
9 deserves a nomination.
my burqa makes sense because it's Ryan Burkerton. Get it?
My burqa makes sense because it's shielding my identity. I would like to challenge my position in the Brett Lee 9. I posted one picture and it was relevant because it had Lepich in it. My thread was about Lepich and it was a Brett Lee picture with Lepich in it.
Nah, you're in the terror squad now, Morgs.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm not in the terror squad. The burqas
gonna
are
nominate-
better at Bay 13.
I've got to nominate lethality.
Yes, that's where I was going. Despite all that, I think Hodgepodge... Ugh.
Plugger melts about umpires, but at least he mixes it up with random videos and stories and all that. But lethality's just... he's reaching weirdness.
There's an entertaining haha Plugger thing going on.
Just because it's funny doesn't mean he hasn't melted down a storm.
Oh, he has melted. It's funny, but Lethality's melting, but it's not even funny.
No, that's just boring, and his AFLX needs to stop.
Yeah, and, if I wasn't so intent on us giving Divvy Blues Attention Whore of the Year so that we could absolutely remove him from the Bay, I'd be all for giving it to Plugger, like Smeghead said. Because, the whole year of, the game's shit, well then fuck off and go sit on your therapist's couch and tell her about it.
I have a 2-part nomination for Flog of the off-season or whatever.
Mum.
First part is after food, because you fat cunt, every time I see one of your posts, I want to throw up. So Stop posting. Thank you. Second part. All of the Christie haters in the Survivor thread on the media and entertainment board.
Hands up.
Get a fucking fist up your ass. Thank you.
No, that's not fair. The fact that she was stuck, she was the last one that you could possibly vote for out of those two.
Oh my
That's just
god.
wrong.
Teach is gone, by the way.
You know what? I also want to nominate Teach.
Yeah, you buggered off. It's gone.
His top 50 is fucking bullshit. It's full of randomness. That's to begin with. There's no St Kilda players, so Teach, fuck off.
Possibly the worst thread to never end up in the Divvy van.
It is literal garbage. That thing. James Aish made the top 20. We've
Hey.
got 20 players in Collingwood. We've got Chris Mayne.
Actually, now that you mention it, how about James Aish and the Umbrella Gate?
Oh, that was unfair. She was undercover already, and he had the
Didn't
umbrella
look like
off
it,
her.
though.
She said she was already undercover. That's why it was over him.
Liar of
just-
the year.
Oh, they're both in there. I'm going into Teacher's thread now. Adam Treloar below James Aish. Seriously, like the cunt can't get to 50 people, yet he had a tie for 17. He hasn't even filled the 50.
I haven't
and he
checked
had
in
two
on that
people
thread in a while.
17.
I need to have a look at this. And he counted up. That's the most offensive part.
What kind of countdown threads is a count up?
He had two people on 17, and they're Caleb Daniel and Josh Gibson.
Why would I even care who's number 50 if I already know who number 1 is?
Will Langford is 19.
No! No! No!
Got two people at 17, you can't have an 18. The next has to be 19.
Teacher's countdown is final. It should not be questioned.
Scott Thompson ahead of Tex Walker.
Mitch Honeychurch is in it. I don't think he played that many games this year.
As tempting as it would be to give it to Teach on the back of that horrendous threat, I still don't think we can ignore Hodgepodge. He deserves it so much more.
That's fair enough.
I'm for it, but after food's still a cunt.
Mitch Honeychurch played 2 games this year. Oh, one of them was against Geelong, so he might have seen it. But in that game, he had 8 kicks and 8 handballs, and somehow made Teachers fucking top 50.
I reckon if the boys put together his top 50, he'd do a better job. And I issue the challenge to you, Tyre boys: make a better top 50 than Teach.
And for fuck's sake, count downwards.
No, don't give him too much help. Let's see if he can get there on his own.
No tips.
Yes.
It wouldn't fall as flat as this. I'll give you the hot tips.
Imagine if he uploads all the pictures to go with his top 50 and they're all pixelated Huawei pics. And it'd still be better than Teachers.
You know that word is pronounced Huawei?
I'm a straight shooter. I pronounce words the way I read them on the paper,
Cash.
like an herb.
No, it's pronounced Huawei. Like, Kaiser said it.
No wonder they can't get their pixels right. They can't even pronounce it right.
Oh, this is a Huawei. It sounds like they're saying railway, but it's...
Maybe that's what they were trying to say.
Well, then they should get one for Teach because he loves the train.
Railway.
Thread of the month, there's a few. What do we want to go with? Oh, actually, we're at Flog of the Month and we kind of skipped over something, Dan.
Did we? Oh, I've forgotten. What were we gonna...
Now that I've remembered Thread of the Month, I think Moffra deserves a mention because we usually don't give him Thread of the Month because we're like, oh, we'll give it to him next time. We always forget. But I think this is the best bottom 50 he's done so far. The melts are delicious and...
Oh,
you know,
Frankston Rover. Hang on.
Frankston Rover back-to-back
Frankston-
melts.
He needs a bit of a mention in the Flog of the Month.
Like, Moffra deserves just kudos for discovering that Brisbane have an award for the most professional player. Like, that's some serious research and commitment to the cause to come up with that. Because most people don't know anything about Brisbane, let alone that.
And finding a picture of Ryan Lester was a fair effort.
That deserves a mention. Pork's thread deserves a mention. And I will mention one that happened a couple of days after the Flogcast. And this is where I'm going, Dan. And Chiround. I'm going to give a reach around here. Morgs' live
Oh,
coverage of the
yeah,
tournament
I know.
with Alex the Solo's stolen goal kicker trophy.
Morgan, I'm calling you out for the whole Solo
you-
trophy. I got kicked out stuff. I don't think that happened.
Are you calling her a liar?
I am.
Does she belong in Liar of the Year?
I think so.
I can absolutely guarantee you right now.
How?
I had that trophy in my hands, and I was approached by security, had it taken off me, and was escorted from the room.
They wouldn't escort you from the room just because you had... It's not like you were running off with it or stealing it.
He loves himself. He would have loved his trophy.
I had it under my jacket. I wasn't holding it out in public, like I'd hidden.
Well, regardless of the truth of the story or not, you were supposed to go up to Scott Pendlebury and call him a cunt.
I do believe that was part of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I was unable to do so. After him winning the Coleman, he had disappeared. And I, along with...
He won the what?
The people, the Copeland, along with the people I was with, scouted the room everywhere for him. I managed to find a lot of players and a trophy. I found Mo Hope. I found Ryan Pendlebury, but I didn't find Scott.
Ryan would have been a decent substitute. You could have said your brother's an unaccountable cunt.
It's still a Pendlebury.
Yeah, you said go up to Pendlebury and call
I
him
think most people would have countered that.
I have a video with Ryan Pendlebury where I tried to take a photo, and I actually accidentally took a video. I think that might explain how drunk I was at the time. It was just a video.
I'm surprised you couldn't find Pendlebury. Wasn't he just wandering around loose?
No. He must have, I don't know, somehow managed to find a way to defend and hide from me.
So he was under a hard tag.
Yeah.
Well, Morgs was trying to apply a hard tag and he went missing.
But then again, I thought he went missing for a lot of the year and still managed to win the fucking medal. What a joke that was.
Oh, I think he deserved it.
Trelaw was robbed.
Trelaw was wobbed.
Now, Pendlebury racked up a lot of disposals, made the All-Australian squad.
Squad.
Well, he usually gets a spot in the team. For some reason this year, they were a bit mean. They judged him pretty harshly.
I'm surprised we didn't trade him out, considering he won our best and fair.
I could have traded him for pick 88. I don't know why he didn't do that. That's the fucking new strategy, according to Hodgepodge. That's how you rebuild, by trading out your superstar veterans for pick 88.
Yeah, like not even Bosk's going by that. He's doing the quiet melt. He's hoping it doesn't play out, but even you can tell he's just annoyed.
We just fucking everyone is just crossing their fingers and hoping we actually somehow win the flag next year, so that we actually only lose 60% of the points value on the St Kilda trade instead of like 300%, which we would. I'm pretty sure if we finish 9th and end up giving basically pick 10 back to them, we lose like 300% worth of points. Whereas if we win the flag, it's only like 60. So, fucking hallelujah. Hope Jager was worth it.
It's okay, because by then you'll only be following like the Saskatchewan Rough Riders or something.
The Rough Riders.
I love ice hockey. I'm going to get right into that.
You'd have to be a Rough Riders for it, surely.
You can hang out with Amstaff then. You and Amstaff can chat to each other. And Hodgepodge, he likes hockey. That'll be a great club to be. You, Hodgepodge, and Amstaff in the ice.
Fucking hell. Before too long, I'm going to end up starting to spam Brett Lee pictures everywhere.
Oh, come on, join us. Join us in the Brett Lee 9.
I've already got the Burka avatar. I mean, I'm too far gone.
You can let Brett Lee get a 10 for Penal.
I've got the Burka. I'm becoming an ice hockey big fan, and yeah, I guess it's...
So are you going to follow the Canucks, Penal?
Is that the local team from Vancouver?
Yeah.
Most likely, yeah. How are they any good?
They're 4th in the Pacific Division, and they lost today to the Capitals.
4th in the division's like second last, isn't
it? Table.
I'm pretty sure it's second last.
I'm pretty sure I couldn't give a shit about ice hockey.
No, there's 7 teams in the division, so you're in front of the Kings, the Ducks, and the Coyotes.
Oh, so they're mid-table, just like Hawthorn will hopefully be for the next couple of years, instead of bottoming all the way out, which I fear is going to happen. Yeah, I haven't followed the NHL too much. I've mostly been paying attention to the international teams. I started watching the Winter Olympics a couple of years ago, and I went to a game a couple of years ago. Canada versus USA. It was fantastic. So, big fan of the ice hockey.
So, where'd we land on thread of the month? Mothra, Morgs, Porks, what else?
I did enjoy that everyone joined in and enjoyed the night along with me, but I don't think that deserves thread of the month. I'm going to give it to Mothra. That gets my vote.
The banner thread was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm going to vote Mothra.
Mothra.
Was there good Hawthorn troll thread, or was that mostly contained just in the shit fight thread?
There were about 6 good Hawthorn troll threads. You started one.
Mothra had also the Hawthorn thread, like pick 88 or whatever.
Pick 88 through the years, yep.
Yeah.
Can we just give it to Mothra on the
just
whole?
give it to Mothra as a collective thing.
Let's go to, well, looking forward. There's only really one thing to look for. Well, not so much if you're penal, but
Well-
the rest of us can look forward to the draft.
No, there's season 2 of Australian Survivor.
And you've still got Millennials versus Gen X.
I hope David wins. He'd be the best winner since Christie.
At least he found an idol. That bitch didn't even fucking find her
Oh my
bag.
god.
I'm not coming on next time. He's inflated with this fucking Survivor talk.
I would almost rather they talked about the SFA, but don't.
Oh,
God,
did you know that I am the most efficient SFA player there's ever been? I kick 2 goals and have 2 possessions.
You didn't do anything.
I'm
You
the
fucking do
Rioli.
anything.
I am the
Fuck off.
Rioli of SFA.
I should just ban every member of the Brett Lee 9, then Morgs would score in the SFA.
Oh no, don't do that because I got in trouble when I got a day off. I wasn't allowed to play. When I got a day off, I couldn't play fake football.
No, anything about the draft to look forward to. Obviously, Penal at pick 88, maybe you'll be able to draft the next Sam Menegola.
And you'll just trade him away.
I will say, I feel sorry if you're like a Victorian and you have to go interstate because a shitload of clubs have interstate picks and they're like top 10 and all
The
that.
Gold Coast Suns have 4 in the top 10.
So get ready in 2 years, everyone.
Yeah, they're just going to request a trade in 2 years, and then Tony Cockbrain is going to be... Tiny Cockbrain, sorry. Let's get it right. Is going to demand 17 first-rounders for them as well. And then all your shitty clubs are going to fold like a deck of cards like we did and cough up.
Tony Cochrane's the new Dodoro.
This didn't get mentioned earlier. The weirdest thing about this trade period is that Essendon actually came out of it looking like a reasonable club that deals in good faith and negotiates fairly. What's up with that?
Well, that's because they actually got a draft pick for Hibberd, which they didn't deserve. He should have really just walked.
Yeah, they got something better than 88. Fremantle got something better for Chris Mayne.
Did Freo get Compo for Maine?
They did. They got like a second-round pick.
Oh,
They
wow.
got a-
They got pick 23, which they traded to us for Brad Hill,
Oh my-
which we then traded along with 17 other picks to St Kilda for pick 10.
Now that you mention it, the pick we got for Vickery, I'm pretty sure the Compo pick was 24, which we traded for Josh Caddy. Ty Vickery for Josh Caddy. Thank you.
It's like everyone won except Hawthorn.
And Geelong.
And Geelong.
And Carlton.
And Adelaide.
Actually, now that we're talking about trades and everything like this, one thing that did catch the eye is, did anyone notice, Brisbane got a priority pick, which you all know because they're a pathetic club. Did anyone notice they actually traded that?
It was part
No.
of was it part of the Hanley deal or part of the GWS deal?
It went to Sydney. That's where it went to.
Yeah, so if you get a priority pick, should you be allowed to trade it?
No, you should.
No.
You should have to draft a kid. I mean,
Isn't
that's
the point of getting a priority pick so that you can draft a
This is
kid
not-
who wants to be there instead of trade for the next Alan Christensen?
No,
Yeah.
this is not fucking Robin Hood, take from the rich and give to the poor. Bro, if you're taken from the AFL, you should have to spend it wisely,
Yeah.
fuckheads.
Well, it sent out their priority pick, and in like picks 2, 19, 31, 51, 60, but they got 3, 16, 22, and Port's next year first rounder.
Brisbane made a whole lot of trading of draft picks. I don't know whether they came out in front or not, but they went down from 2 to 3, which was strange.
I think GWS actually paid them overs so that GWS would not have to match some sort of academy bid or something like that. It's something to do with academy.
Because they got pick 3 for McCarthy.
GWS on paper paid overs, but it works out in GWS's favours because academy.
And GWS can pay overs because that's why you trade with GWS and not the Suns penal.
Yeah, and that's why you give up pick 19 for Jonathan O'Rourke, who is probably the 42nd worst player in the AFL right now, and anyone who's melting over that inclusion needs a fucking bullet.
Is someone actually melting over that one, though?
I assume Frankston Rover is.
No, he's still melting over Boyd. Mr. September.
I
Should've gotten
assume that
Jack Steele
Fallaby
penal.
is. Look, Jager's
Mr.
going to be a
October.
gun. I love Jager, but we paid too much for him, and we shouldn't have traded out Sam Mitchell. So.
Never sounded more bogan. Or love Jager.
It sounded like Teach. I love penal.
Or love Jager.
I love Gary Yablin. If anyone says any mean things.
You should make one of those videos. All love, Sam Mitchell.
I'm pretty sure you've got enough content out of me tonight to splice one of those together.
Anything out of the draft?
I can't wait to have another Dacos. Cannot wait. Another Dacos and another Brown. Happy days.
It's going to be a pretty interesting draft, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I actually like the bidding system. I don't necessarily agree with the academies, but I like the carnage that the bidding system sort of brings about.
Well, it's fairer than the old system, which was like Heaney for pick 19.
You should get a greater discount for father sons, and academy picks should cost you a bit more than that and all that shit. But I do like the idea that, yeah, it's a bit fairer in that way. Like, teams don't match. Like, North drafted that guy out of Brisbane's academy in the second round last year, and the Bryans didn't match it.
Richmond, bidded on literally every father-son last
We
year.
did it on 3 in a row before we took Rioli. It was great. It makes the draft a little bit more interesting. But is there anything else we want to mention? Like anyone who might get a new home?
Like in the preseason? Or...
Oh, well, the list
BFA?
Yeah, I think Xavier Richards will get a new home. Barlow will get a new home. Andreas Everett would be worth picking up.
Yeah.
Who takes Minson?
No one. The KKK.
Tested it, maybe.
I think we might, because we
I was
delisted.
about to say Hawthorn might.
We delisted Fitzpatrick, and Segler's out for most of the year, if not the whole year. So
Maybe
fucking
West
hell.
Coast.
He'd fit in with the family club mentality. I'm not sure what the family club even stands for anymore after they traded out its heart and soul. So what the hell? Let's just bring in Will, aka literally Hitler, Minson, because we've already destroyed our reputation. It couldn't get any worse.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes, just because of the way the draft's kind of skewed, with the Suns having all those picks again. You know, everybody's going to be so glad that a player slipped to them. Couldn't believe he was still available. Hawthorn's going to go, can't believe he was still here at pick 88. You know, next this guy's going to be the next.
We're gonna like father-son upgrade. Father-son Benjamin, and go into deficit next year, which is what we have to do. And then we're gonna upgrade 3 rookies or something, because what the hell do you want to do with those picks?
Yeah, but you know what, Penal? You're gonna have to go into deficit, but you've got no picks.
Yeah,
You've got no picks next year to go into deficit.
No,
so
we've got GWS as second rounder, which is pick 36 or something. So pick 36 will become our first pick next year will be 60 or something. Hallelujah.
That might not be enough. You might have to trade out someone else for it to get Jarman.
I think.
Okay.
I reckon
See ya, Hodgie.
No, I think Cyril will be gone.
Cyril to Geelong. For Motlop. Make it happen. Hawthorn get Motlop and Geelong get Rioli, and the world just goes bizarre.
Are there any injury-prone players that are coming out of contract this year?
Sam Reid.
Sam Reid. Oh. Let's trade Hodge, Rioli, and Shields for Sam Reid.
How bad a Hawthorn that no one at their club is out of bounds? Whereas, at least Brisbane had untouchables. No, we won't trade this person. They are untouchable. Whereas Hawthorn is just we'll trade you fucking anyone.
Wait.
Yeah,
John Kennedy?
Wait, who was Brisbane's untouchable?
Oh.
Half the
Rich
list,
and
pretty
Zorko.
Zorko.
Oh, 1 year it was James Age.
Oh, so Brisbane didn't have an untouchable this year, because, that they traded Hanley out, and they wanted to get rid of Rockcliffe.
Hawthorn, they handled this trade period deplorably, because they were like, hey, who wants Luke Bruce? Who wants Will Langford? So in the first case, Luke Bruce didn't want to go, but in the second case, no one wanted Will Langford. Shit. Yeah.
But less fat.
But, Luke Bruce didn't want to go. Lewis didn't want to go initially. Most of the players didn't want to go.
Paddy didn't want to go initially. All you got to do is put their name up.
Offered up. No one wants to. It's just a mess.
You put Puopolo's name up, and he didn't want to go, and he still stayed though. That's the thing. Some guys are just happy to stay. You must have pushed Lewis even harder than Poo Poo.
I always got to push my poo-poos pretty hard, but Jordan Lewis must have felt it.
And you guys, then you shat all over Lewis.
Well, we still have Will Langford on our list, which I think is a fail, because any trade should have involved him. Couldn't we have traded, surely he's worth pick 88. Someone would cough that up, right?
Not the contract though.
Crickets.
It's all about the money. You guys got stingy because you had to pay so much for Tyrone Vickery, because we might have matched it and kept him.
Fucking time. Vickery. What? I'd rather play
Dickory,
fucking...
dickory, dock.
Yeah, I'd rather play fucking Show and Makers at full forward. Rather have Chris Main. At least he tries. At least he tackles defensive efforts.
Hey, wait,
Vickery's never laid a tackle or made a defensive effort in his life.
He laid an impressive defensive effort on Dean Cox once. Took him right out of the game.
Penal needs a hug.
I do, but I mean, since this Sam Mitchell trade went through, I just haven't been the same. Even my dog doesn't like me anymore because I'm so miserable, and my dog just senses that. And
Maybe you just stopped kicking it. You're right.
No, I do not engage in violence against animals. My dog is my baby, and I would never kick him because I'm not named Will Minson.
But you will leave him.
Or Hamish McLaughlin, apparently.
But you're going to leave your dog and go to Canada.
He's coming with me.
What, like Johnny Depp style?
The dog's going to freeze to death.
It's fucking... Look, the winter that Perth has just had, it'll be fucking warmer over there. Like, I have suffered through 6 months of the most miserable weather, and now I'm about to have a 45-degree summer.
Does it even get cold in Perth?
The whole month of July and the whole month of August, it literally did not get over 14 degrees.
That's not cold.
14 degrees.
That's not cold. That's not cold at all.
The sun came out today for 3 hours, and now it's back down to being fucking 5.
It's
Penal,
November
you can get
it's October and it fucking rain.
You can get sunburnt in 14-degree heat.
Look, I was travelling around and as I mentioned to fucking the Welch of cunt NL when he didn't come out and say hi to me. The nicest weather I've ever experienced was 10 degrees, 8 to 10 degrees in the Arctic Circle when it's sunny and like 10 degrees. And it's just the most beautiful weather.
You can't call him a Welcher just because you didn't see the real Northern Lights.
Yes, you can.
And that's what you have year-round in BC.
BC! Oh, you're so down with it now.
Anyway, I think we'll wrap. So this was the Flogcast for the trade free agency period. Starburns joined by Dan.
Yeah, see you later. Ta-ta.
Cookie.
See ya.
Morgs.
Christy's a fucking donkey.
And Penal.
Christy is the goat, and fucking Hawthorne, you disgust me. I am so disappointed in you, and everything has been ruined. And
Survivor can get stuffed.
I hate everything except Christy.
Thanks also to Teach, who dropped off early, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you after the draft.